Hello and good afternoon, everybody. I am joined today on the Quick Gains live show with the founder and CEO of Voice Your Vibe. I think he's actually done more LinkedIn live video productions, content, shows, whatever you want to call them, than anyone I know, possibly anyone on the planet, maybe. So, Brian, how's it going?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Go on, give us a running total. How many LinkedIn live programs, shows, episodes, pieces of content, however you want to call it, how many of those have you put out in total?
Uh, so I guess from a live perspective, it's over 250
Yep.
episodes. Yeah, between What's Good Wednesday, Shout Out Saturday, and then the behind the scenes stuff that I did pre-COVID. Um,
And the
yeah,
longest live stream you've ever done? Because I'm sure I get to actually see some of it.
yeah. It's actually the longest one done was almost 5 hours, but the caveat is that with LinkedIn Live, your broadcast gets cut off at 4 hours. So we were
Yeah.
actually broadcasting across multiple platforms. So we were still going across other platforms. But yeah, I've been. It was July. It was July of last year. Broke the LinkedIn Live record of broadcasting live for more than four
That was at an
hours.
event, wasn't it?
It was at LinkedIn Local LA. So
Awesome.
our friend Diana Nien was in the States for the first time from Australia, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to go. We had been at VidCon, and I had some stuff happening at home. I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it, so I wound up being able to go and surprise them. And it wasn't even meant to be. Like, I just wanted to capture the whole thing, take everybody with me that around the world, because I love bringing people with me to places that they can't be at.
Mhm.
And I was just going around having conversations with everyone. And next thing you know, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. And I remember Diana at one point going, wait, how long have you been streaming for? You're not going to break the record, right? And I'm like, honestly, I haven't been paying attention to time. But now that you bring it up, absolutely, I think we'll just keep going, because whenever the conversations stop, I mean,
Yeah. Not that
we're
you're
having so much.
competitive at all,
Yeah,
are you?
yeah, it's good. And as Diana had said, she's like, she said something like collaborative or competitive, and I said collaborative, Mike. I said collaborative. She's like competitive. I said, okay, explain. And she said, okay, well, it's like Jordan and Pippen, right? If you remember the Bulls back in the day, true dream teams of basketball, like, they were very competitive. Over your head. They
Why?
were
Why?
very. Oh, okay. Well, basketball, NBA in the States, the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
and Pippen. The two of them they were teammates, and they were very competitive, but they both raised each other's game, and that was where she was going with it. She's like, it's very competitive, but you each level each other up. It's like you may be trying to one up each other, but you are leveling each other up. So that's a good thing. And I'm like, wow, I'd never even actually thought about it that way. And you're so right. And subconsciously, I had been doing that, like, through my whole journey, was wanting to be where others were, and putting myself in a room with people that were so much better than me, so in a room, so to speak, right? And learning and growing from them, and many times unbeknownst to me. So anyway, yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, there's so much growth. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm like way down here on the hill. It's like I'm just starting to. Tim, that's my producer. Shout out to the Bulls. Yes, yes, Tim remembers. Um, so shout out to Tim, my awesome producer, for all your remote live producing, broadcasting needs. Tim Sohn, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, he's a good lad. We were
He
funny
is
enough.
a
I was
good
on
lad.
there, the Tim and Jim show a couple of weeks
Yes.
ago. So I
Yeah.
was episode 99. So they had 99 problems, but I wasn't one.
I love it.
So let's talk community, because let's face it,
Yes.
you build communities. It's kind of what you do. Hence, your title, Voice Your Vibe, the CEO and founder of. So, how do you grow communities? This is what people need to know, I believe.
Yeah. It's so important, right? I remember having this great conversation too with our friend Chrissy Buck, and community is everything. It's everything. I mean, look at the world that we're living in, right? We're literally in the middle of a pandemic, something we never ever could have imagined happening. And we, as we were talking earlier, it's like people that are used to going out, maybe in a corporate job, and going to an office and being with their teams and their work families, right? They can't do that. And so technology, which has been there the whole time, right? And yet a lot of people just kind of brushed it off and were like, yeah, no, this Zoom, okay, I don't need it. I can go to this conference, I can go to this meeting, I can go to this luncheon, whatever. But now have been, over the last 5.5, 6 months, prohibited from being able to do that because we can't have that contact, right? And we as human beings crave that contact with one another. It's just a natural thing. And so technology has been one of those things I say is a silver lining that's a good through all of this, which has allowed people to be able to do what we're doing and be able to. I mean, I've been on anniversaries, book launches, happy hours, right? I mean, so many different kids have had play dates. I mean, not mine, but because they're older. But yeah, I mean, it's been a silver lining that's helped people come together, right? And that's what community is all about, is all these companies build these digital playgrounds, and we as the kindergartens, as I say, decide if we want to show up. And I don't know, I love bringing people together. It's always been something that that's been a part of me, which is really interesting. The backstory, just in terms of kind of being the kid on the outside, if you will, growing up, the last kid picked and all of that. And again, growing up with a neurological disorder and always being the small and weird kid, being a preemie. And I had a hard time connecting with people, if you will. And it wasn't my intention. I mean, I think I craved, part of me, I think, craved that. I wanted to be a part of those communities, but it never really felt like I was. And then later on, I got this evolution kind of took place where I started to kind of find myself. And then certainly Mike, good to see you, Mike, came out of my shell. And again, then with LinkedIn Video, that was the first time I ever talked about the being a miracle baby and pound and a half and growing up with neurological disorder and Tourette's and all that. And I owned that for the first time, and it really did change things for me. But before all that, I mean, I've always been about bringing people together, because the reality is when you bring people together, incredible things do happen. We don't know what's going to happen, but that's the whole point, right? Is you bring people together and awesome collaborations like we're doing, right? It's a really cool thing. What's the worst thing that happens? You learn, you grow, and you realize, yeah, this crowd isn't really my, vibe tribe. I'm gonna go find, see who else is out there, which is the beauty about social, because you never know who you're gonna meet. So it's awesome.
I think not many people know my family, but well, some people do, obviously. But my wife, she's half Bayesian, as in from Barbados, not because people are like Bayesian. What's Bayesian? So Bayesian from Barbados. So her mum is from Barbados. Her dad's a white guy from North London, and being from a Caribbean family, it's a big family, right? So you've got family who's actual family. You've got the distant family, like relatives, cousins, that kind of thing. And then you've got family who are called family, but they're just like, next door neighbours, went to school, all that kind of thing. So you call them family, but they're not actual family. But in general, certainly in Caribbean islands, everyone's just family.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came to literally about a week and a bit ago, one of my wife's actual cousins, like blood related cousins, she got married. And normally that would be like everyone just flood to the island, kind of an event. It's I've been to one before, and it's standing room only at the back, huge, great big like marquee tent on the beach, fish fry. It's like a thing. But bless her, she got married, and the maximum they could have was 30 people, which in a Caribbean wedding is tiny. I mean, normally you're
Yeah.
talking more like the wedding list starts about 350 and you kind of work your way down from there.
Yeah.
But we ended up all around the world. We, through Facebook Live, oddly enough, their production crew kind of dealt with it all, multiple angles, drone, that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And we attended their wedding from, I think, something ridiculous, like 13 different countries.
That's awesome.
But like you said, I mean, you could never have done that without the power of social media. You could never have done it without access to social media platforms or anything else.
Yeah.
And she was like, she was supposed to get married last year, but they weren't able to for whatever reason. And then this year they couldn't. They didn't know if they would be able to next year, and they just wanted to have their special day, and that was as close as they could get to it without having to wait an unknown number of years.
Yeah.
And like you say, it's the power of technology that enabled them to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, weddings, graduations, there's so many. And my son is just starting a senior year in high school, and all I'm thinking is he going to be able to experience any of his, like, the seniors from last year got to at least experience the first half of their year. Granted, they missed the best part, which is all the fun stuff at the end. But this year, like, I'm sitting here wondering, are they going to get to experience any of that? You know, it's an unknown. But again, yes, technology, it's an amazing thing. And you said something else I think is so important too, right? We have blood family, we have all different kinds of family, right? I mean, you see me, I bleed blue and white. I mean, I got LinkedIn all over the place. Shout out to my LinkedIn sister, Shelly Elsliger too. I'm wearing my Decide to Be Kind bracelet. And I don't wear it because I get paid by LinkedIn to do that. I wear it because of the way it makes me feel. Maya Angelou said, "People remember. They may forget what you say, but you always remember how you make them feel." And it's so true, right? And that's why I love LinkedIn so much. Why I preach LinkedIn to everyone is because that is my family. I mean, literally, like, I'd jump on a train tracks for any one of these people, and because they've changed my life, and I think we can all relate to that, especially from a social media perspective, right? I mean, you meet people and it's like you find yourself, those are people you talk to every single day, right? Those are the people you spend time with every day. You spend time with more than your blood family, right? But I think it's an amazing thing, and like I said, you have these technology companies that build these digital playgrounds, and then we decide if we're going to show up and play, and that's the community part, right? The community is built by the people. It's not built by the companies. The companies create the space, and we have to show up and build that tribe, that family, right? And I think it's interesting too, just because when you think about a place like LinkedIn, most people are looking at it and going, "Oh yeah, it's that digital resume. It's where I go to look for a job." It's not, "Oh, it's this engagement platform where people come together and and do stuff."
It's kind of called social for a reason, isn't it? Really, kind of
Yeah,
confusing the name.
right. Yeah, exactly. Social media. Yes, social meaning we come together in
It's not
different
like
places.
pitch media or
Right.
sales media or like CV
Exactly.
media.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Um,
I think one of the things
but
that I actually talk to a lot with when clients of my own, and we also do this within Quicc as well, is it's making people understand that actually, even if we talk about business, because obviously there'll be people here who are watching thinking, how do I build a community so I can reinforce my business? And I think that's the wrong way around. It's the how can I serve people better and build a community and connect emotionally with my target audience so I can then help them and in turn grow my business. It's putting the serving first and the earning second.
yes.
But most people don't understand that how you sell is you connect emotionally first, then you justify with the logical stuff like, price and T's and C's and things. But no one gives a crap about that. They care whether or not they can actually work with you or whether they like you or not. And most
Absolutely.
people don't start there.
No, I mean, look, people do business with. I've been in sales my whole life, either building and growing teams in the tech stack from a Martech perspective, or carrying a bag, so to speak. And the reality is people do business with people they like, know, and trust. Right? We are humans with a heartbeat first. And what you just said is spot on. It's not about, like I always say to people, if you're going to go to LinkedIn just to do business, you're not going to
Don't
succeed.
bother.
You're not. You're not going to succeed. You need to have a why that is greater than just doing business, because everyone is there to do business. You have to be about the people. Every one of these platforms is about one thing and one thing only, and it's about the people. And it's about building community, and it's about serving others, and it's about giving to give and helping to help wherever you can, however you can, whenever you can. It will always come back to you for the good, but that's not your intention, right? It's not so that it'll boomerang back to you. Again, false intention. Do it for the right reason, and know there's no silver bullet, and it takes time to build relationships, right? It takes time for people to get to know you and get to like you and get to trust you. And it happens in so many different ways. That's the power of video, right? Is when you show up, not talking about business, when you show up and you're provides you the ability to build those relationships and build community. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I get on like Zoom chats or video chats with people for the first time, and they're like, wow, I feel like I've known you for years. And that's because they've seen, either me showing up on live shows or videos or whatever. And that's the cool thing about it, especially in the age that we're living in, Dan, because we can't go to the conferences we used to go to. We can't go see our prospects and customers and partners. We have to do things digitally. And those companies and those C-suite execs that truly understand the power of digital. I mean, I've been online since it was green screen and chat rooms, sitting in my mom's lap learning how to type. Like, I've seen the entire evolution and have been a part of it technologically and tried and tested all sorts of stuff. And the reality is that in the age we're living in today, this is the most powerful medium, because it allows us from across the world to be able to communicate, come together, and truly build relationships. And look, I'm telling you, you can do it. I mean, I've closed multi-six-figure deals through my career over the phone, right? Through video chats, with ever meeting in person. You just have to understand how to build relationships with people. And that's the part I think a lot of people have such confusion around when it comes to, building, yes, Tim, now more than ever, when it comes to building community, it's that, right? It's how to build relationships and build community in the DMs, how to show up in the comments and engage and build community, how to show up on video and collaborate like we're doing and build community, right? It's it's not rocket science, but there's something you said that is really important, right? It's about emotional intelligence. It's about here. Like, I think out of anything, if you look at the last 6 months, just look at this year, and it's going to be this year, it's going to be next year, and who knows, it may be further in terms of where we are with this pandemic and truly coming out of this thing into, and it's overused, but a whole new normal. People are not living here. They're living here with their chests cracked open and their hearts beating wide. And that's where you need to be reaching people. By the way, that's where you always should be reaching people. Okay. To your point earlier, you'll get to the business nuances along the journey, but this is where you reach people, because we're always in the back of our minds looking for ways to connect with people. And that's the community part. It's like, oh, Dan, you have kids? Awesome. We get into that conversation. Oh, you're in tech too? Great. Oh, right. Psychologically, in the back of our mind, we're always looking for those triggers. Yeah, it's layers, exactly. And I do have a degree in psychology. I won't get all psychobabble on you, but those are the things that we're thinking about, in the back of our head. It's like, oh yeah, I like this guy. He's got a cool beard, and how does he keep his head so shiny? And I love his accent. And as Tim would say, Dan's got this very calming voice. It just kind of puts you at ease.
Someone did tell me they could listen to me all day.
You do. You should be on that sleep app. Like you truly could just put people into a. You shall.
Twinkle, twinkle,
Yeah. Yeah, I love it.
I think one of the things I was going to say to you actually was literally exactly what you were just talking about. How you're connecting with people in comments, in DMs, actually taking the time to establish that relationship. And I don't think cold outreach is a bad thing, because prospecting, as you know, I mean, you've been in sales most of your career. Prospecting is the cornerstone of growing a business. So prospecting is a good thing. But I think there's a difference between prospecting and spamming.
Well, there
And
is.
prospecting takes time, doesn't it?
Well, and there's so many ways to do that too, right, Dan? I don't mean to cut you off, but like people would think, okay, I have to cold call, I have to send emails, I have to like your typical, newsletters and whatnot, your typical kind of thought flow for to build your pipeline. And that I want people to think in a different way, right? Like again, I like examples. So think about LinkedIn. You have DMs, you have direct messaging, right? Where you can communicate with people. Most people aren't using it. If they are, they're selling right away, copy and pasting, tweaks, whatever, and shooting that out. But they don't realize there's so many other ways to communicate that sets you apart. Again, I'll give you examples. You can send voice messages through LinkedIn messaging. You can send video messages, and they both have timers. It's like 60, 90, 120 seconds. You can send GIFs. Like I love, and I'm sorry if you say GIF, I say GIF.
No, GIF is fine. GIF is the normal way.
It is the normal. Thank you. I love
GIF is washing out your liquid.
That's right. Yes. GIF is peanut butter. Like we're not eating peanut butter. We're GIFing. So, but GIFs are the most underutilized asset in DMs. Why?
Good GIF.
Oh yeah. I could have a whole GIF conversation without saying anything. I've done it with so many people. And every time I connect with somebody, they get a personalized message and they get usually multiple GIFs. And the response back every time was like, oh, I love that one. Oh, what a throwback. Oh, that's great. Oh, what a great message. Oh, because GIFs make you feel a certain way. They bring back a memory or they make you laugh. More times than not, they'll make you laugh. And that's an amazing gift to have and to give someone right when you've met for the first time. They're going to remember that.
Don't you? I mean,
yes.
I could actually, I'll read out a message that I had just this morning from someone who messaged me on LinkedIn, actually. And they said, hey, hi, Dan, I've been following you for a while, looking to connect and learn from you. And then straight into a sales pitch, which was like 3 paragraphs. And I'm like, well, you're starting off with a lie. And then going straight into a sales pitch. You're then asking me to do 3 different things. And then I know you're going to follow me up with some automated message in 24 hours time. I'm like, no.
It's the worst thing you can do, because here's the thing. You're going to remember that. It is ingrained in your mind, and you're never going to want to have a conversation with that person. Is that going to help you? No, because now you're never have an opportunity to potentially do business with that person, if that's the case, right? I have this happen to me all the time. Although the worst part recently is that it's happening in the actual invite message. Now, I had been saying forever, please, please, please send personalized messages. Send personalized messages, because when you just hit the connection button and all you're doing is say, I'd like to add you to my network. That's the most impersonal thing ever. That'd be like me walking up to you, Dan, at a conference or something and handing you a contract and just saying, sign this. You're like, I'm sorry, mate. How about we start over? I'm Dan. What's your name? Right? You wouldn't, why would you do anything different? But that's the thing, is people don't, I think we have trouble understanding in our mind how to build relationships digitally. And that's the most important thing that you can do, because that's building community. Yes, that's us. It's social media marketing world.
I don't know if you
that was when Dan and I met for the very first time, by the way. Yes. We fell in love immediately. I love it. It's awesome. Yeah, it was literally right as the pandemic was hitting hard. Last conference of the year. But yeah, I mean, and I love conferences. I mean, what an amazing way to come together as a community, right? But when we don't have the ability to do that, take advantage of all the abilities that you have to be able to come together. Okay, Claire says, any tips for getting started with building community or expanding your current audience? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look,
Just
showing...
a point to note, by the way,
Yes,
Claire
please.
has just joined the Quicc team.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
she is a homie.
Welcome to the Quicc team.
Yep. She's down in New Orleans. Well, she lives in New Orleans. She's in Wichita right now.
Awesome.
But yeah, so hopefully there's New Orleans to go back to, because apparently you've got some big hurricane going on.
There's like 2 hurricanes. Of course there are. You know, aliens,
I know.
hurricanes. Yes, everything's happening. Please stay safe, everyone. Yes. So
tips.
Claire, yes, tips for getting started with building community. Look, one of the most valuable things that you can do when you're getting started, because a lot of folks say, I'm terrified to get on camera and get on video and all of those things. So start in the comments, whatever platform it is, but I would specifically say, especially for LinkedIn, start showing up in the comments. Here, think about it this way, right? If there are people that you love, right, you know, random examples like Gary Vee and others, or just people in general, just that you love their vibe, you love their content, whatever, you don't know them, start showing up in the comments. Show up where you see a lot of community building happening, right? Heck, show up on What's Good Wednesday and Shout Out Saturday. I mean, these are actually great examples, not to boast my shows, but they are great examples that have nothing to do with me and everything to do with the community, right? One of the things I always recommend to companies is when they're looking at their heart-centered content marketing strategy, which is what your content marketing strategy should be, is one of those vibes of yours should be all about community, right? So it's do a weekly series that's shining your light bright on others. You know, maybe it's, okay, you're in the MarTech space, you're in the, I don't know, cooking industry, you're in whatever. Remember, anybody and everybody for the most part is on LinkedIn. So think about the world that you want to get the attention of, your tribe, and go out and start finding those people. And if they are creating any kind of content whatsoever, start engaging on that content in the comments, right? Oh, great post. I love how you talked about this, or what a great article, or whatever. Because what will happen is, as you start to show up and show up and show up, that person is going to see you showing up and showing up and showing up, not in a stalkerish way, and go, who is this Dan guy? I'm going to check him out. And they're going to naturally go to your profile on LinkedIn as an example. And they're going to check you out and say, oh, Dan, Quicc. Oh, interesting. His captioning and data and all this cool stuff that they do around video. Okay, interesting. Right. And then Dan will see that and he'll reach out and go, oh, hey, Brian, I noticed you stopped on my profile. You know, be great to connect up. We should have a chat sometime or something, you know, get to know each other, whatever. Right. And then you have that other additional connection point, and then you can gift to your heart's content. And, you know, and again, so again, I guess the most important part is show up and support others, shine your light on others, start in the comments and engage, create posts, forget video. If you don't want to get on video yet, it's okay. But create posts and shine your light on a couple people, right? Maybe it's 3 people. And each week you do that. Every Wednesday at 8:00 in the morning, you do a post, and it's, today I want to give love out to, you know, or a shout out to, or whatever it is. But the whole point is you're giving out love to different people, right? And maybe you put a blip with that to say why. And what that does for you is, by mentioning those people, right? One, you're shining light bright on others, which you should always do. It's always a good thing. It says a lot about who you are as a person too. And then 2, they see that, their tribes see that. And what will happen is people will start to show up because they'll know, same bat time, same bat channel. You're showing up to shine your light on the community, right? And remember, whether you know them or not is irrelevant. It's that you want to throw some love out there because you dig these people and their vibes. So that is a great way to do that, just in steps, right? Is show up and engage in comments of different people that are out there sharing content, and then create content shining a light on others. Those are good steps to get you going. And as you do that, you'll start to build this tribe, right? Because that's how you meet people, right? I mean, Dan and I, we met through friends, and that's how you usually wind up meeting, is someone knows someone. Hey, you should meet this person, or you bump into each other, or digitally at this point. But oh, I think you're on mute, buddy. There you go.
I thought I was talking earlier. So it was through Rob Balsabas, I think, with you and I.
Yes.
First connected. While I was on mute, by the way, I was actually asking the question of because you just ignored everything I said. I was like, "How dare you?" I thought if I could you on like a war or something. But I was saying on mute, the showing up consistently as well. That not only connects with people, but it also feeds algorithms, doesn't it?
It does. I don't want to jump into that too much, just because I think the key, here's the thing with algorithms, no matter what platform you're on, you can't control them. You can try and backdoor them, but you can't control them because they're changing constantly. And if you're spending all your time on trying to figure out how do I beat the algorithm, you're losing touch with the why in the first place, right? Build community, shine your light bright on others. Like, it's all about the people. Heart first, human first. Like, if you focus on that,
everything else follows.
Everything else follows. Like, I am literally a poster child for that, because that is how I have gotten to where I am today, is because it's always been about people for me. You know, I didn't get on video talking about business because I didn't want to talk about the boards and the advising and the mentoring and the international speaking and co-founding of companies. I do that with those individuals and their teams. So it wasn't about that for me. For me, it was, I got to get comfortable being comfortable doing something I've literally never done before. I don't know how to do technologically, psychologically, emotionally, like everything. Like, it was greenest greenhorn ever. I didn't even realize there were apps existed, right? So it was, okay, bring people together, right? I was really uncomfortable, but that made me feel a little bit more comfortable. And being a pioneer of LinkedIn video as well as LinkedIn Live, like, that's what it has always been about for me, is it's okay. Like I said, incredible things happen when we come together. You don't have to know what's going to happen. So bringing people together is such an important thing, because no matter what it is that you do, that's how you grow. That's how you succeed. Think about it. If you're a business and you've just closed a deal with a company and they've loved the experience, right? That experience isn't just usually with one person. It's you, and it's Sally and Johnny and Joe and Jimmy and Jenny and however many J's you could think of, right? There's a team of people that come together collectively to serve you. And that's how that happens in all of the worlds, right? And then that happy customer, they're talking to Jimmy and they're like, hey, you got to work with these guys. They're incredible. We had such an amazing experience, and boom, right? Now it becomes this cyclical kind of effect where it's like, wow, okay, great. And so many people keep talking about you. Why? Because you are serving, you are helping, you are supporting, how can I help you? How can I take care of you? How can I support you? How can I lift you up, right? Yes, you want to make money, save money, make somebody money, save them time. But it's again, it needs to be more than that. It's, how can I help you, Dan? Dan, you want to get home to your family earlier every day. If I can help you do that, amazing. Like, yeah, I'm going to do these other things because that's my job. That's what I get paid for. You know, if that's my job, that's what I get paid for. But I want to help Dan, the human being, because when you do that, you'll always remember that. Why?
It's taking
because
the outcome one step further, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because it's personal. You know, it's beyond the surface. It's going above and beyond. And again, just like a GIF, right? It's something that's memorable. You're going to remember that. You know, now you're a trusted advisor. You're not just a salesperson or a business owner that wants to sell a product and make some money. I want to take care of you. We're coming together. Let's grow together. And that's the thing. We grow together. We rise together. We lift each other up together. And it's only good things come from that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the funny thing, I've just recorded a YouTube video for my own channel, which I need to get over to my video editor actually. So, due to YouTube soon, in fact. And one of the things I was talking about in that was, I mean, like you said, we're not going to dig into algorithms because I think that completely misses the point that we want to drill home with this live. But whether you're catching on a replay or whether you're live with us today or not, one of the things I was talking about was people keep on asking me the same question of, like I said, how do I beat the algorithm? How do I do this? How do I do that? And I'm like, the first part of this video was take the I out of the question, right? So it's not how do I get more followers? It's how do I serve my audience better so that they, achieve whatever the outcome is. That's coming from a different point of view. But the other thing I explained in the video as well was if you think of social media from the social media platform's point of view, they're basically advertising businesses. No matter what social media platform you're talking about, they make money from ads. So
Mm-hmm.
long as you build a community and put out content that engages people and keeps people on the platform, then you'll always win. So stop thinking about it and just create, because that's all you actually need to do, and do it consistently. And I think that's the trap that you were saying most people fall into. They start thinking far too much about all the moving parts,
Yes.
rather than just doing. Because it's
it's so
that
true.
gets them.
Oh, so true. I mean, I've been through that so many times. It's easy to get in your head, and it's easy to get way down in the weeds versus just start. Like just show up. The most important thing you can do is show up. You mentioned the word consistency. Consistency is key to success in anything, especially in social. Showing up consistently. When you show up, your tribe knows when you're going to show up. But here's the other thing, right? It's very easy to get caught up in the numbers, right? How big is my community? Oh, it's again natural. Bigger, better, growing. Yeah, impact. Think about impact. If one person shows up for your post, if one person shows up for your show, if one person watches your video, if one person sends you a DM behind the scenes. I'll give you an example. I had somebody reach out to me. It was in January, and she said, hey Brian, we haven't talked, we haven't really met. We connected a while back, but I wanted to let you know how much your inspiration and your posts have meant to me over the last year. I've had a really, really bad year, and like really, really bad, like almost was going to take her life type bad year. And she said, your content saved, the short version is it saved me. Like, and I never knew that. I didn't know, because she wasn't engaging. She wasn't showing up per se. Right. And I get a lot of those messages from people that I really needed that. Thank you so much. I'm going through such a hard time. And that's my why, right? My why is to inspire one person a day. It always has been for 16 and a half years. Every day I've been on the platform on LinkedIn. But remember that. Don't ever discount that one-to-one human connection. The ability to impact people, and realize this, you guys, you're not always going to know. You're not always going to know that you're impacting somebody, just like that example I gave, because you don't hear from them. You may not hear from them. But you need to believe it, and you need to know it in your heart that by showing up, you are impacting people. And again, have a why, no matter what platform it is. Have a why that's greater than you. Have a why that's greater than business. Have a why that hits you right here, that you go, this is legacy. This is impact. This is, again, it's not about the I, it's about the we. When you start saying we, you are in the right headspace, because then it's more about the togetherness. It's about coming together, and again, amazing things happen. There's so many unknown entities, and that's the beauty about it, is you just never know what great things can come from that. So show up, be consistent. Your vibe attracts your tribe, right? Show up and voice your vibe the way that you do, where you do. Show up in the comments, create content, be consistent with that, create a content strategy that works for you, because it works for me and works for Dan are going to be different. But find a flow that's good for you and go with it. Don't go full tilt boogie. You'll burn out. I mean, you will. It happens to everybody. It's happened to all of us, and then you need to take a breather and recalibrate, and then you're not starting over, but depending on how long your break is. I mean, I have friends that are creators that have taken years off and have just come back, and you're starting all over again,
But I don't think it's even starting all over. It's you take time to evolve.
Yes.
And I think, and it's something you going way back to the beginning of this show. You said something was about it's everyone supporting each other, and just because they're further along in their journey, doesn't mean you shouldn't strive to do what they're doing. But equally, when you get there, you're always going to be pushing forward, aren't you? Always.
We all start at the same point, 0. We're just at different points in the journey, right? I mean, I've made over 750 videos on LinkedIn and 250 plus whatever, live shows and whatever. I would be sitting here looking at me going, I want to be where he is. And I want to be there. I want to be there right now. I want to be able to do those things. I still do that. I still look at others and go, I want to be able to do that. And I know in my head, I'm like, okay, I will. I'll figure it out. I'm not there yet. Right. Remember, growth is an amazing thing. A lot of times we don't know we're growing, especially when we're uncomfortable. So I want you to remember, as you're creating, right, as you're kind of moving along in your journey, if you feel really uncomfortable in that journey, that's a good thing. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. The other thing is, remember me in the back of your mind going, if you're really uncomfortable right now, that means you're growing. You're going to look back in reflection and go, wow, that was a really big inflection point for me in my growth. It's important to reflect, right? And celebrate, by the way, celebrate your growth. Don't just look at the big boom moments. Celebrate all the little wins. You're getting comfortable being uncomfortable or feeling uncomfortable. That's a win because you're growing. So yes, 100%. If you take anything away from this conversation today, it's not about you. It's about the community. It's about the people. It's always about the people. If you always remember wherever you're going digitally, that it's always about the people and how can I help? How can I bring people together? How can I shine my light? Again, especially in these times, I brought that up earlier. I'll bring it up again, right? As Tim says, yes, now more than ever. The most important thing you can be doing as a company, as an individual, is building your tribes, is shining your light on others, is making people laugh, making people smile. I mean, I've changed some of my content strategy up just over the last 6 months as well. Because look, we're living in a upside down world right now. I mean, everything has gone bananas. We're all scared to death. We don't know what's going to happen. People are getting sick and dying, and everything else that's happening around us, right? It's like the sky literally is falling. So if we're terrified, how can you help for just a moment to give someone a smile, to make somebody laugh, reach out to someone, right? And reach out to your friend and say, how are you doing? Tell somebody a joke, share a video with somebody, something makes you laugh, share it, knowing that it'll make somebody else laugh. That's what I've done with what I call midday pumps, which used to just be more, you get that midday push. It's like you're slugging and you need a little pick me up. And I would do that. Well, I've started to find videos over the last 6 months that have made me smile, made me laugh, made me dance, whatever it is. And I would share those as my midday pumps and give credit to whoever it came from. And I figure if it makes me feel good, I know it's going to make at least one other person. And that's the kicker, right?
That's the point.
One other person. Don't ever discount impact. It becomes a ripple effect.
I read something yesterday, and just what you were saying just made me think of it. It's that if you think about it, I believe the only fears that we as human beings are actually born with is loud noises and falling. I think I'm not sure if that's actually accurate, but that's what I read in this psychology thing that I was reading yesterday. Everything
Fear
else is
is,
learned.
it's all here. Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
here.
and everything else is
We
learned.
create the fear.
Exactly. And what you're saying is if you can create content that, like you say, lifts people up and it stops them being afraid, then you've done something good in your
Yes.
day.
That's the whole point, by the way, of my 2 live shows. It has nothing to do with me. It is that. Like everybody I talk to, I say, hey, whether it's folks I'm working with or otherwise, I actually invite guests live onto the show from the comments. Come join us. Here's the link. Come join us as a guest. There are a lot of people that show up and they're like, you're out of your mind. You want me to come on the live show? No way. I can't do that. Right. And I get it, because that was me. I was terrified to get in front of the lens too.
Mm-hmm.
But these shows are about fun. It's not, let's have this serious and, dig in a deep and all this kind of stuff. It's let's have some laughs, right? Let's share the good in our lives or in the world, because there's always something good, silver lining, no matter what's happening. You're alive, you're breathing, you're here right now, right? That's good. Mm-hmm. Or give shout outs and gratitude to people, because gratitude makes you feel good. Giving gratitude for someone else makes you feel better. It makes others feel good too, right? And creating what I called social distancing, which is a take off social distancing, which makes no sense to me. It's physical distancing. Social togetherness, physical distancing. But I'm like, how can I do something with this for the people? Bring people together.
You to show up in a toga, to be fair.
No. Only for you.
Onesie.
Only for you. We'll show up in onesies and togas. Yes, I will do that. I'll show up in a onesie for you. We'll do it together. You've heard it here live. But social distancing, I'm like, this would be cool. People, we can play some music, do some dancing together. It'd be a good time, right? And I've had people that have literally either been depressed and came on the show, or have been terrified to get in front of the camera. And I've said, come on the show. This is a great way. We're just having fun, having a conversation together. It's just you and me, and forget everything else, globally, and let's just have fun, right? And after, they're like, wow, that was awesome. Like I didn't think I could do that. And, I was really nervous, but I wasn't as nervous after, or I was depressed before I was depressed before I came on, and I felt so much better after being on your show. Guys, that's impact. In the times that we're in, especially now more than ever, that's impact. Think about that. How can you impact somebody in a positive way? How can you make somebody feel better? How can you light somebody's world up for just 1 minute? 1 second, one brief moment, because they're going to remember you. They're going to remember that, and they're going to want more of it. They're going to want to come back, because, again, in the world that we're in, it's like we got so many things to think about. Sometimes we don't want to think about that. We just want to think about something completely different.
I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, you and I have known each other probably a couple of years now, and between you and Rob, I've done a couple of like Facebook lives and dabbled here and there, but I'd never actually been on a proper live show, like actually gone live on LinkedIn or any other platform for like, more than 4 minutes. Just the concept of that it baffled me. And I mean, not going into in depth, because the show is about you, not me, but when I was at school, I was chronically bullied, like really bad. And it really, really impacted my adult life. And I had counseling for it and all sorts. And I think going on live video was one of those things, even though I'd gone through the counseling and everything. I remember I got LinkedIn Live because Rob said, reply, here's where you reply. And you told me the same thing, just see if you can get access to it. And I thought, yeah, I'm never going to get access, it's fine. And I got access and I was like, oh, crap, I have to actually do something. And then you were encouraging me to go live, and I had a heart rate sensor, like one of those watch things. And just every time I went to try and do it, I would fiddle around with lights, I'd fiddle around with microphones. You know, my heart rate jumped to about 110. I'm like, it was terrible. And then
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was, but one of you, or I think both of you, actually did a live from an event you were at, and just like this, you just went live, two people talking, everything else behind you, or around you, or in front of you, or online didn't matter. Yeah, exactly. And I thought, do you know what? Screw it. And the following morning, I just did my first LinkedIn live, and I didn't die. It wasn't terrible,
Right.
and but it did
Yeah.
take that switch to do it.
It does.
Um,
It does. And someone to give you a little nudge, someone to be there to support you, someone to say, hey, it's okay if you feel scared. It's all right. Or if you fall down, it's okay. And by the way, I can relate because I had therapy when I was a kid too. I got bullied a lot when I was a kid too. And I had those same exact fears, just like you did. Not only native video, live video too. I mean, when you take the leap, right? What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to completely botch it. You're going to fall on your face. You're going to have technical issues. You're going to be sitting here going, go, God, whatever. Is it the end of the world? No, it's not. Because the reality too is when we're talking about things like algorithms, look, if you have 10,000 friends, connections, what have you, depending on the name of the platform, right? All of those people don't see you when you show up. That's not how it works.
Yep.
You don't control that part unless you reach out and say, hey, come join the show. Hey, you should come check this out. Hey, you got to do the work, right? There's no silver bullet. Like, you've got to do the work in all of this. You've got to do the work. You got to show up. You got to put in the effort. It's just like anything. You will succeed if you consistently are showing up. And here's the part that's really important to remember. The falling is the most important. Like, you have to fall along the way and just get up and do it again, because that's where you're winning. When you get up and do it again, that's the win part. Forget was it a great show? Like, Tim and I have talked about this, my producer, and we've had shows where I'm like, oh God, that was horrible. Like, I struggled to get through whatever. Like last weekend, my back's been bugging me. I cut my finger. Like, I spilled water all over my desk and all my papers. And I was having such a bad day. And I'm like, I told Tim, I'm like, I'm going to need you to help carry me through the show today, because I'm just having a doozy of the last 24 hours. And he's like, well, we'll be good. We'll have a good time. And I felt like I struggled. And I even said through the show that I was. And I watched it afterward and was like, this was a great show. Like, you never know in the moment, you'll think it's really bad, and then you'll look back and go, oh my God, that was okay. But learn from that and laugh through that, guys. Like, you got to laugh through it. If you don't, you drive yourself bananas. Like, just realize that it's okay. And the stumbles and the bumbles and all that, that's great content too, by the way. It also humanizes you, right? I mean, we're all imperfectly perfect. We're all weird. Like, own that. Just be okay with it. Laugh at yourself, and other people will laugh with you. It's important. But the most important thing, as you were saying, is like, yes, just start. Yes, just show up. Yes, just keep going. Yes, be consistent. Find a groove that works for you, and whatever that is, and just keep showing up. Because when you do that, and I say it from experience, and Dan, I know it too. It's like, amazing things will just happen, and people will show up, and your tribe will show up, and it's a really cool thing, and we need, you never know who is watching. 1,000,000%. Never know.
It's funny, if my video editor, he actually contacted me, and I think I talked to him in some comments on some social media channels and groups on Facebook, I think it was, and he'd been kind of consuming content for a while. I genuinely don't know how long. And then he just reached out to me in a very human way. It was like, hey Dan, I was just watching your live. Funny, it was one of the Quicc Games shows. Just watching on one of the Quicc live streams, and he kind of actually personalized, not just like, hi, insert name. It was like, actually, personalized.
Yeah.
And he was like, do you want to jump on a call and talk about how we can work together? I was like, yeah, sure. An hour later, I got a video editor. I was looking for one, but I got one now.
Right. But see, you said something that's really important, right? He took the time to check out your content, to understand who you were, what you're about, what your vibe is, and and related that back to you. Like watching, paying attention, listening is such an important thing, you know, and if you do that, you know, when you're reaching out to people, you're trying to build your tribe, your community in different ways, right? Whether those partners, clients, prospects, community in general, right? In terms of social, do that. Don't just, I mean, my gosh, I get the most random, hey, I noticed you're hiring people for something. I'm like, where did you see that? I'm not doing that. Hey, I something like, I saw you're an expert in real estate. Where in the world did you see that? I have nothing to do with real estate. Like these things crack me up, you know?
Yep.
And it's like,
Excel
if
fail.
you, yeah, my God, immediate. It's like, I'm never going to pay attention to this person. I'm never going to connect with this person because I know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Pay attention, be purposeful, you know, be human and purposeful, and let people know you appreciate those things. Your example is another great one, right? I mean, this is not rocket science. Take the time. If you want to build a community in terms of your tribe for business, right? Take the time. Here's what you can do, okay? Here's strategically what you can do. Make a list of all those folks, those companies that you would love to do business with in your industry, okay? Make a list of them. Go and find those companies on LinkedIn and go follow them. Then go find the C-suite executives within those companies, right? And go follow them. Then go see which of those because those are the decision makers. Those are the people that have the money to pull the trigger, right? Then go see if any of those C-suite execs are creating any type of content on LinkedIn. Then go engage on their content on a regular basis when you see them creating content. They will then go and check you out. You will see if they've checked out your profile. You'll send them a personalized message. Hey, notice you stopped by my profile. Well, let's connect up. Be great to do so, you know. And you start that kind of conversation, right? By you showing up first and supporting, yes, you're strategic in your who, because you'd love to work with them, but that's not how you're approaching them. Support them. You know, if you like their content, let them know you like their content. Let them know why you like their content, right? We all love to be supported. Mm-hmm. So taking those steps strategically allows you to build your tribe strategically, right? And then you'll have a whole world of another tribe that'll start showing up just because they dig your vibe and your messaging and what you're talking about or what you're doing, and they like it. They want to see more of it. They want to be a part of that. That's the thing, right? That's the community part, is we want to be a part of something.
Yeah. I think we've been drilling it home, obviously, community first. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
When you talk about the changing momentum slightly, one of the questions that Mike had actually was this one, and talking about how we evolve communities and how we evolve how we work with them. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
What have you heard about how LinkedIn maybe planning to evolve the video component? Anything new you expect to see?
So how do you see it evolving, video specifically, on LinkedIn and platforms like LinkedIn? I mean, how do you think, and also how do you think community engagement and community growth will be evolving over time as well?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Mike. And I think broadly, when you think about platforms in general, like you look at, look at TikTok, right? A platform that was initially, it was kids and, dancing and challenges and, lip syncing and all sorts of that stuff, right? And it gets
pop song with my niece.
Yeah, right.
There's actually a video of me doing that.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome. You'll have to share that because everyone's going to want to see it, including me. So, but and it's evolved, right? I mean, every one of these platforms has evolved where they have a video component. They've evolved over time, and they didn't start as business, right? Facebook didn't start when it came video in general, but also with video about business. The only one was LinkedIn because they business social networking platform, but it's backwards because you think you have to show up on video and talk about business when that's not the point. It's be human first. So I think there's always going to be an evolution. But the thing is, though, I mean, there should be no question about whether or not you're showing up on video, right? Over 80% of content consumed online is through video. They help you build brand awareness. 90% of videos generate, product and service purchasing decisions. 12x plus social videos generate, more than just image and text combined. But it was interesting, and this is all pre-COVID. HubSpot did a study that said 54% of consumers want to see more video content from brands and businesses that they support. And they predicted that video will account for 70% of all mobile traffic by the end of next year. I think when you think about a platform like LinkedIn and the evolution, and we've seen it already, initially when it's new, they want more people to use it. So algorithmically, they will push more traffic to it. As that changes over time, right, that algorithm will change and all that. Again, you can't control that. This is just naturally, what happens. Same thing with LinkedIn Live, right? Anybody that goes live, and I'd say there's less than 500 of us out of 675 million, although again, that's pre-pandemic. So that 675 million is probably significant more over the last 6 months. But the point is they would say to anybody, you don't have to be connected to them or not, they're live, right? Well, that started to change a little bit. So I think with any platform, the evolution of video things are gonna change, things that you don't have control over, right? Stories have come to LinkedIn, although internationally first and then coming to the States, a component of video, right? Your short form, brief video type stories that you can create. So video will consistently evolve. I had been saying I thought LinkedIn Live would come out of beta because it's been in beta for the last year plus in 2020. And my prediction was that more and more businesses would find their voices and voice their vibe and attract their tribes and include native and live video into their marketing strategies. I guess I always say go where the people are, right? Show up where the people are. Facebook is an example of a platform that's evolved quite a lot over the period of time that we've been and is very ad heavy, right? So a lot of people have stopped showing up there, or they've changed their strategy and show up in other places, right? When platforms are new, they're going to push a lot of traffic your way. As time evolves, those things will kind of change, and you have to change your strategy and such. But I
think my own view on that is, I've had LinkedIn Live not as long as you, but probably about a year now. And I think one of the things that I've noticed is that if you look at the kind of people who have access to LinkedIn Live, I haven't seen a single lead generation business with access to it. I haven't seen a single, LinkedIn trainer. You're a community builder, but you do community building on LinkedIn. But I haven't seen a number of different kind of niches don't have it, and they consistently don't have it. I think LinkedIn are being quite careful about who they give access to the feature to.
Oh, sure.
Because they don't want it to turn into a free-for-all sales frenzy, automated streaming, sales pitchy type of thing.
Well, and they tell you that too. Like once you've been accepted into the program, they say, we don't want you to show up and talk about this or that or this, because they don't want it to be pitchy and salesy, right? And they are very particular about, as I said, less than 500 of us out of 675 million to 700 million people on the platform. Yeah, they're very particular. Most people don't get approved, let alone get approved, 1, 2, 5, 10 times until but that's because they want to see your content. Live is very different than native, pre-recorded videos, because anything can happen. You're live, anything can happen. That's harder to control, and it's harder to control from a LinkedIn perspective because you're not going live directly like you would on Facebook or just hitting a button go live. You're going live through a third-party platform like we are through StreamYard, right? So there's more nuances to that, and But I will say, just on a sidebar, since we're talking about it, if you want to get access to LinkedIn Live, there is a link you can apply to. It's a pretty lengthy form, as Dan knows. And but what I will say is, don't get discouraged if you get denied. Go live on other platforms. Go live on Facebook. Go live on YouTube. Go live on Twitter or wherever else. Make sure they're set to public. So that way you can share those links with LinkedIn, because part of that is, do you have any live shows, right? Where do you go live? What are your shows about? You can provide that to them in that process. Creating native video, like you were talking about, is something that's really important too, especially on LinkedIn, because when you do that, it shows LinkedIn that you know how to create videos, meaning you're showing up, you're having, they want to get a feel for your vibe, you know, engaging. We've talked about this entire time, right? If you engage in other live streams on LinkedIn specifically, it grows your tribe, right? Your community. You meet lots of people in the comments. You'll better understand the feature. And again, you're showing up. And when you show up, LinkedIn pays attention to that stuff. They pay attention to who is showing up. So that's a great way to do that. And showing up on shows, right? Ask to be a guest. I mean, when you do that, I mean, you got a 50-50 shot. If they say no, okay. If you don't ask, it's 100% no.
I just put the link to the LinkedIn application form for getting access to LinkedIn Live. I just stuck that in the comments.
Awesome.
Also, just so everyone is aware, all these nuggets that Brian's been sharing, there are more. And there is a free course that you have as well, isn't there? You hosted on Thinkific, didn't you?
It is. It's on Thinkific. It's linkedinmasterclass.thinkific.com. It's a jumpstart course that myself and my buddy Rob Balasabas, our friend Robbie, created. We created it last year. Actually, it'll be I think it'll almost be a year come November. But it's applicable to if you're a newbie or you've been around for a while and you didn't realize this was an engagement platform. There's tons of great nuggets there, so definitely check that out. It's completely free.
Like you said, serving as you've been talking about
for the past hour. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's one of the free giveaways. The other one was, if you're wanting to talk about how to LinkedIn video or LinkedIn Live for your business, you have questions, you want to talk strategy, I'd love to chat with you. So you can schedule a free 15-minute chat with me at calendly.com/voiceyourvibe. If the time is available, you can have it. I work with C-suite execs and founders and their teams when it comes to video. I mean, all things video and strategy. I do put a focus on LinkedIn because, again, like I said, go where the people are. That's where the people are, especially if they're people you want to do business with. Remember, the beauty about it is that you have this natural predisposition that it's a business social networking platform. So that's already there, but it's be human first, right? And then, if anybody,
go into a room and just say, here's my business card, and just hand
that's
it out.
right.
You actually have to say hi first, and
yes,
introduce yourself.
And you make a really good point, Dan, because like I always say, like, to put it in digital terms, your smile is now your logo, right? Your personality is now the business card that you would hand somebody, and how you leave other people feeling after that experience with you, whether it's live or native pre-recorded video, that's your trademark. So if you just digitize what you would normally do human to human in person, and also remember that at the end of the day, when you're showing up, like, your whole purpose in the back of your mind, just as Maya Angelou said earlier, as I said, people may forget what it is that you say, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. When you show up, always have that in mind. Yeah, you always want to provide value. I think that's the other thing is people hear the word value and think I've got to give somebody some business tip, or I've got to talk about something business oriented. Value comes in many ways. If you've just inspired somebody, you've lifted somebody up, that's valuable. It's impacting somebody. So just remember, by showing up in the ways that you are, you're always providing value. And if you're sharing stories, you're always providing value. It doesn't have to be a business story. Sharing a story like you just shared. I was bullied a lot when I was a kid. I went to therapy. I could relate to that, right? I was with you in that because I've experienced that too. You sharing that story had nothing to do with business, but it affected me. It impacted me because I know what that feels like. See, so stories are the most important thing that you can share, because we're all looking to relate to one another. That's the key, is we want to relate to one another.
Yeah. And whether it's one-to-one, I mean, to be fair, I keep on forgetting there's actually live people watching us.
Right.
But I think that's also the point, isn't it? It's two people having a conversation, getting a connection, but then there's others watching, whether it's live or on the replay, who will also have that connection, will also feel that vibe, exactly what you say. And yeah, whether it's one person or whether it's 100,000 people, it doesn't matter. You know, you're still connecting.
That's right.
And like you keep on saying, that's the point.
Well, that's how it happens, right? One person at a time.
Yeah.
And usually that's how it happens. You're building these relationships one person at a time. So just show up, just be you, share your stories, engage in support, build community, shine your light bright on others. It's the best thing you can do. You can create groups. Rob's a master at that. Like he creates groups and he brings people together and he invokes conversation by putting questions out there. Like that's a great way to build community too, guys, right? Is when it comes to sharing, creating content, ask questions, what do you think about this? How do you feel about the state of digital in the world we're living in? Or, I mean, again, it doesn't have to be business oriented. It's just,
it's like tea or coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It doesn't have to be.
Can relate to that.
That's
so I'm
it.
Not either. I'll say neither. I'll say
there you go.
A hot chocolate, please, because I'm a bit of a cocoa addict.
Yes, awesome. I'm right there with you.
So normally we do wrap these shows up around about an hour-ish, and we normally wrap it up with the sharing parting words of wisdom. But I think you already did.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of just did it right now, right? I guess remember the digitization of your smile is your logo, your personality is your business card, and how you leave other people feeling after that experience with you, live or native in video, is not your trademark. Simon Sinek said it best: people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And remember the Maya Angelou quote more than anything is that people may forget what you say, but they're never going to forget how you make them feel. And when you're building your tribe, that tribe is never going to want to leave you. I mean, you make them feel a certain way, and that sticks with us, especially in the times that we're in. But just start, just show up, create some consistency that's good for you. You can ramp yourself up, and don't, when you fall, because it will happen, just get up, dust yourself off, give yourself a smile and a laugh, and give it another go. And remember that you're never alone. You're never alone. You've always got a tribe that is out here supporting you. I'm here to support you. Dan here to support you. Quick's here to support you. There's so many people out there, and especially LinkedIn. Like you hear the word LinkedIn fam, and that was actually a hashtag that myself and my dear friend Sunny Tanan created a couple of years ago. We laugh because we can't figure out which one of us did it, but that's not the point. It's just what it means. Like we truly are a family on LinkedIn. You will feel the vibe. This is something that we have paved an uncharted road of, and you feel that energy. And I can tell you, I've gone to this platform when I have not been. I've just been down moments, over the years, and I feel better. I feel lifted up. I feel I'm inspired. We all need inspiration. We all need motivation. When there's times that we just don't feel like we can go. We don't feel like we can get up. We don't feel like we can take a step, especially in these times. So that's why community is so important right now. Because when you're at your lowest, or you feel you are, your tribe is here to lift you up. That's when you need your tribe. There you go.
I think that's perfect words to end on.
All right.
Other than the fact that I have included in the comments the link to my cup video TikTok.
Yes.
Just
awesome.
For you and for everyone else there to enjoy. My niece will probably hate me for putting her face over the stream.
Not at all. She'll love it.
She's fine. She's like 14, 15. 15.
Yeah,
she's just 15. So Yeah, I'm sure she's fine with it.
Awesome. Well,
Well,
Dan,
thank you for joining.
you're
Thank
amazing,
you for
man. I
sharing.
appreciate you. I'm sending you all the love, big hugs. I miss you across the pond there. And stay safe. Everyone out there, please stay safe. Wear your masks. And get out there and build community and make something. Yes.
Connect with Brian on LinkedIn. Grab a call with him if you so feel the urge. Give the video a like and subscribe if you feel the urge to do that as well. And thank you, Brian, for joining.
Yes, please send me a personalized invite when you go to this link and you hit connect. Personalized invite. Hey, I saw you on the Quicc Gains show. You know, let me know, because otherwise I will miss it. If especially if there's no message with it. And but if I do see it, that way I can connect with you. So
and by miss it, you mean ignore.
That potentially that too. Yes. I mean, I have thousands of invites literally in my inbox on LinkedIn on a daily basis. And yeah, if I don't have a message, that means I have to go and do the homework and see who you are. And it's going to take me more time. Always make it easy for that other person to know who you are and why you're reaching out.
Wisdom. There it goes. Thank you all. And we will see you again next week. And thank you, Brian.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.